Hey guys, another Bible review from Jonathan and Bi-vocational Ministry. I found another Bible at our local wholesale store, and I have been doing some studies in the Apocrypha as of late, and I have purchased a Bible that is that and contains that. Of course, this is the NRSV, the New Revised Standard Version, Catholic edition, personal size standard, crimson leather soft. You'll see it. It's from Catholic Bible Press. Don't freak out. One, it's a Catholic Bible, so Catholics would carry this. And two, it contains the Apocrypha, which would freak people out that it's in there. And three, it's the NRSV, which is done by an ecumenical council of churches, including that of extremely liberal points of view. And so this review is going to be a little bit, I've used it a little bit, not so much the Bible portion, but just reading through the Apocrypha portion. But I have looked up some just kind of verses. I was kind of curious of how they rendered, and I was actually pleasantly surprised with how they rendered some of the verses. So, but this is just a basic preview of this Bible. Of course, it's the NRSV, personal size standard edition, crimson leather soft by Catholic Bible Press. Here's the back. There's the number. Okay. All right. Pope Francis evidently likes it, so however you think of that. Anyway, so let me open it up. Here's the box. A very nice box. This is the crimson leather soft. It's a very nice leather. And fake leather, I guess you could say. And I'll be honest with you, these Bibles, they just seem to be getting better. I just have yet to run into a Bible made in the last 5 to 10 years that's this leather soft that's not of good quality. They have really nailed down how to make these Bibles good quality, where they hold up very well. I know when I was younger, it was hard to get a leather soft that would actually hold up. Now this seems to be holding up just fine, or it will hold up just fine. This is a nice cover, and it goes along with other manufacturers or publishers of Bibles, and they use these kind of things. So let me get past my name here. So again, there's the Holy Bible NRSV. Here's the information page. Okay. Let me go back one. New Revised Standard, anglicized text. So this is not even a text that you would, it's not just the Catholic edition, but it's also the anglicized text. So here is the table of contents. New Testament, book-wise, is identical to Protestant Bibles or mainstream evangelical Bibles. This is the part that is very different, because you have books such as Tobit and Judith, and Esther has some different endings and different things different with it. You got 1st and 2nd Maccabees. Proverbs, that's an ours. The Wisdom of Solomon is different from the Song of Solomon and Proverbs. The Wisdom of Syriac or Ecclesiasticus Syriac is different, and it's not in our Bibles. And then you will find that Daniel is a bit different. It includes a couple more stories, and you also have Baruch. So that's going to be different. I'm doing studies in the apocryphal books, and so that's why I bought it. And this is mainly a review of the Bible itself in format, not necessarily the books themselves. And perhaps I will do a video on that in the future. Abbreviations. Here's the introduction to the New Revised Standard Version. This is their personal size, so it's not real. It's got about an inch thick. It's about an inch thick, and it's about that wide. I don't know how that wide is, but it's not a wide Bible. As you can tell, it's not a very wide Bible. I have an average size hand, and that's how wide it is. Forgive me for not being extra detailed. I know some people really like that. No center column references. I do like that it has these little notes on the bottom. When there's other ancient witnesses, is what it calls them, where you might have a Hebrew, Syriac, Septuagint reading that's not in the text. They'll actually put either the literal meaning or an ancient or another ancient witness says this or whatever, they'll explain all that. I like that. I like that they have all that information there. But this is what it looks like inside the Bible. All the books look like this. Here's Psalms. Ecclesiastes. Back here is there's first, second Maccabees, first Maccabees, Judith and Tobit, all back there. Here's the Wisdom of Solomon, like I said, which is different than Proverbs. And you have Isaiah. And then you enter the New Testament. And that's what it looks like. The words of Christ are not in red, so it's fully black Bible. Again, it has the literal meanings. He, Greek gospel, other ancient authorities lack falsely. So it has those little notes in there, and I appreciate that. What I like about it is it's just the text. There's not Catholic notes with it, so you're not going to get just a Catholic interpretation of things. Anyway, here's the New Testament. Pretty simple, standard Bible. There's nothing real special about it that makes it, except that it contains the other books. Of course, it's based off the critical text and the modern approach to the Old Testament. It's not based off the Old. I know that for those of us who hold to a TR position, this is not ideal. But like I said, I'm reading it mainly just for the Apocrypha. So here's a reading plan in the back, and then here's a concise glossary and concordance, and it goes back here, and then you end it with maps. Pretty simple. These maps look very familiar. They use these kind of maps, or these maps almost exactly in almost all the different Bibles you can get. And so let me say a couple things about the NRSV. Only reason I even would buy for NRSV is because of the studies I'm doing right now in the Apocrypha. But let me tell you something. I know that people say this is a gender-neutral Bible, that it's that it has liberal translators, and that they're going to pervert the text, and I don't necessarily disagree with that. And where it says brothers, we should leave it as brothers and man instead of human, and instead of brothers and sisters, as they would translate it a couple times. So like in James, where it says brothers, it would say, James 1, brothers and sisters. And I want to tell you that it's not as bad as some people make it out to be. Yes, it is not. It does have brothers and sisters, but in the places it does have brothers and sisters, it literally, it is always preached to the congregation as a whole, both men and women. It almost, so whenever I read brothers and sisters, it is a place where that passage would apply to brothers and sisters. It could apply to both. And one thing that's noticed by is where it does that, it puts a footnote, and on the bottom it says literally brothers. And that doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me, because when it was clearly referring to a man, it says man. It uses he. It uses the normal pronouns. It just uses where brothers are used generically as people, or brothers and sisters in the Lord. That's where they use it. Now I looked up some verses, and I'm like, okay, these are the trigger passages that I think would be translated in the liberal way. And I actually have not been as shocked. I have not been as disappointed as I thought I was going to be. In the passages where it talks about leadership, it's actually a little more confrontive of our modern culture than some of the conservative Bibles that I've read, and it actually does a good job articulating when we, particularly in reading the New Testament, where talking about leadership in the church, teaching in the church, conduct of different genders that are in the church. It actually does a good job at retaining a lot of those things, and I've actually been very impressed with it. It even took a position on a certain translation of a text that I'm not going to get into in this video that really shocked me, because it took a more conservative approach to a position than numerous conservative translations have taken. And so for me, I have been pleasantly surprised at the integrity of this translation. Let me just say that. So I don't know if that settles your heart or fears. I don't know if I would give this, particularly the NRSV, to a new believer. But for me, I've been cool with it, and I've actually enjoyed reading it. But I want to give you this preview of this Bible, and just thought I'd throw this on the channel since I was doing the studies in the Apocrypha anyway. It's so far I've really enjoyed reading it. Does it have all the tools in it that I would like? Well, no, but I'm mainly using it just as a reading in certain studies in the Apocrypha. But for someone who's interested in the Apocrypha and what it says, this might be good reading. And I'm probably going to make a video why someone such as myself, who's not a Catholic, might want to study some of the apocryphal readings or apocryphal books that the Catholics embraced and that Protestant Christianity and evangelicalism as a whole has rejected. So that's it for me. You guys have a great day, and God bless.